Buddy, as we get into this midweek live, as tonight I decided to come on after the flip because we seen a nice little bounce back, but I wanted to be present at the flip of the clock, which was at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that we could let the market shuffle out while we're in here together and see what kind of continuation we have. We went down to a really nice level with Bitcoin, at least clearing out that 98,000 and some change. With XRP going down to $2.06, we're able to clear out more liquidity and now continue to build that topside liquidity pool that seems to maybe allow us for a little bit of an expansion push. But we'll get into this as we go through the live. I really appreciate everybody who's tuning in. There is a lot to discuss. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of panic selling, like a lot. I'm not talking about somebody sold because they were, anticipating maybe a lower buy-in entry, or they were trying to take profits and they thought maybe a market could drop like it did. And Bitcoin, went from 114 to 98. So that was not necessarily a bad move. And then you buy back in. That's not what I'm talking about. Or I'm not talking about if you were swing trading. I'm talking about somebody who had long-term bags, was convinced that we were about to go into an alt season, seen this last drop, and they're like, oh my God, I'm selling it. And that means they're selling it at market, and they didn't care what they were getting to sell. That metric was going up. That's the big fear metric. That's when we were here 24 hours ago, yesterday in the live, not this morning's, but yesterday, I had said I didn't buy that first drop, but I said, have your money ready for the next drop. Because I thought, honestly, that was going to be a better drop. Not just because I don't think we're done dropping. It's just if you're trying to make the money off of a drop, that was the one to get. Because it kind of faked us all out at 104, went back up, and then it just ended up going down to that 98 and some change. That's where we thought it was going to hit, at least targeting. Now, if it comes down below that for Bitcoin, we'll continue to evaluate it as we go. But I'm not convinced it's going to. That lower level is that validation zone. The fact it held that area, it's almost like the trading algorithm did it for a reason. Like it's nothing short of remarkable how it just holds these areas. But this is good because now, even if we're in a rising wedge or a rising triangle, we don't know yet. We really don't. But as this becomes clearer, we get to play this now. Now, if it technically holds the bottom here, and this is going to be it was a pretty strong close here to get back to the middle. Now, to me, it would mean, I think we're coming up to like 108 at least. Wouldn't that make the most sense? Obviously, we have to get up over 104, 389. But I was nervous a few days ago because remember the daily was way up here in the overbought area. And I got to talk a little quieter because my son's sleeping for the night. But remember the overbought was way up here at like 100. And the weekly was way down here. Started here and then went around. Now all of a sudden the daily's caught up to the weekly and the monthly. Beautiful. There's so much space there. But I tend to like to buy assets when the weekly's oversold and the daily catches up. That's why I thought that second drop there was everything. It validated it. The first drop came down. The second drop pulled us right into over. It's almost a perfect storm here. My projection was towards mid-November, as everybody knows and is probably sick of, when I really thought we were going to get the direction and start to move more towards a bullish fashion. I mean, now we're out of the first week. We're into the second week in November, believe it or not. Hopefully, we bottomed out now, because if we did, it's going to be pretty special, because then these are going to be playing off like these big drops that happen are just going to play off. Maybe not with Bitcoin. But like with XRP and such, I mean, you could start talking about, well, maybe we're playing in a flag setting. Not like this. That looks like a complete... But honestly, with the drop that happened, we don't even need to guess anymore. Why do we guess? Why am I guessing? We don't need to. That's exactly what it did. Right there. No need to guess. Now we got to get validation. So if XRP's coming for validation, that means we should come up here to like 264. What other area is up at 264? Is that an area of significance? I believe it is, because that's where we fell out of, got rejected the first time. But now it's starting to build into something. Honestly, until this breaks down, I'm not convinced it's not a big bull flag. Like I've been saying forever, it's just we got to make sure it doesn't come down for the devil's wick. But now we're starting to meet all ends here. I'm starting to like the fact that the daily was way oversold. And the stochastic, the weekly's way oversold. Let's get the moving average convergence divergence out here, the MACD. But before I do, good evening. 7:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Also known as Doom Day in the USA because it was election day. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Whew. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. So, the moving average convergence divergence, and I like it. I like the basic moving average convergence divergence, nothing special. We're going to move this up to the top. Where did it move it? Certainly didn't move it to the, oh, here we go. And we're going to move the top. There we go. Now we're talking. So the moving average convergence divergence. And this is a good metric to watch, just to try to get validation. We're trying to see where the money basically is flowing. Like, where's the positive, negative flow? So, in the daily, we're starting to reverse. Big time. Big bear. So, it almost looks like we're going to have a meeting up here soon. Let's see what the weekly's doing. Oof. Weekly's, well, as you know, before you get good, you have bad, right? But technically, with the pattern we're in, 3 hits to the downside. If we can consolidate here, we really should come back up to that 386 at some point. I don't laugh because it's like, oh, no, I laugh because it's true. We really should be coming up there soon. J for Mix, no caption says lame. No caption says lame. I'm somewhere, can't listen. Huh. The caption says lame. I'm not surprised. Dan, Marginal, and Mike B, and G Stott, welcome in, and thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Crypto Cooter, good evening, and 1970 Legend as well. Thank you both for being very trusted mods in here in the Telegram. Crypto Cooter, 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Aaron, Joseph, Mick, all in town over 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. And then 1970 Legend, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I really appreciate that, our fellow Buckeye. Also, very generous, sent a $4.99 donation. I bought a big bag of XDC last night at 0048. You and me both. You and me both. I didn't really want to talk about it earlier because, you know. But now that we're more consolidating forward towards the down direction after a push up, I did too. I went, so I have like just over 150,000 XDC. Remember before it was like just over 120 or 125, and everything got sold, you know, on the limit orders from when it broke through on the last drop. IOTA, I was able to get over 100. I have 100,222 is what I bought, and I had $250 left over. So it's went from 40 to 80 to over 100,000 with these drops, which is nice. What else? I still have 20,000 XLM. I didn't do anything crazy. Now, what I wasn't expecting to do is I wasn't going to buy Dent back, but I did. I bought 8 million Dent. I bought 10,000 Band. I just could not. I couldn't keep myself from doing it just because they keep bringing real quick returns after these drops, and it's like I want to see these two out in particular. Linnea, our copy trade, had a big reversal back up. The one that's open's up a few dollars, but cumulatively we're not back to even yet. But with Linnea, not even close. It's got to make up another $300 to $400, I think, to get us back to total even. But that's based on the amount I did it in. I have like $3,000 something into Linnea that I'm invested. It's like 240,000 tokens, but it's a beautiful copy trade that I'd love to see where it goes in this market. What else? XRP, that never changes though. XRP Healthcare, that also never changes. Oh, Algo, 40,000. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, Epic. Epic's 10,000 tokens as well. I think that's pretty much it. I think that pretty much breaks it down, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've said too much. I don't want to be such a big influence when people are like, I'm going to do this and that and everything in between. Trading with Jay, right? Because I'm not a financial advisor, but this is just the way that I perceive the market and some of the strategies I employ. That's all. Trading with Jay, right? Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix page. I hope everybody likes the what I decided to use today in the live. It was a pain in the you know what to get AI to flip it like this so that I could use the whole picture. But I really liked and look what's on here. The whole point of this. Mid-November, I've been preaching that message forever. But look at the bags as they're falling from the people as they go up with diamond hands. They're dropping it right before basically the big payoff. As you see, the higher it goes, the more tempting it is to just lose the bag. And there's a lot of meaning behind that picture, behind my title picture today. But you can decipher it. But we're not out of the woods yet. Let me be very clear. We are not out of the woods yet. We need to get out of this zone. Otherwise, it's like I said earlier. I would love to see a big candle spike. Otherwise, it makes me feel like XRP is building a move up to 264. But then what? Although, if this did pan out a lot, you know, we could start to play this pattern back out in the short term, like back to the top of the channel. That's what I think we're doing right now. I think we're probably going to come back to the top of the channel. We're so oversold right now in the daily and weekly. It makes me happy. Oh, it makes me happy. These are the conditions for big moves. I think it was 1 year today. 1 year ago to the date, XRP doubled, I believe. Somewhere around now it did that. Somewhere around now, XRP doubled. So I would love to know what the audience thinks, honestly. I would love to know what the audience thinks. Let's see. Can we look at get a look at Quant? Yeah, we can, Shane. Thanks for being in town over 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. And John Page, thanks for being being a very loyal viewer now. I see you in here a lot. Good evening, my good friend. Cape Cod Kyle, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. We'll go to Quant, but first I want to go to XTC for 1970 Legend and myself. I continue to try to build this bigger and bigger with strategic strategies. When it fell out of here, you guys already know I talked about it. There was the limit sell, and my strategy was to buy it back at 5.2. It fell right through, got a couple chances. I didn't buy the first area down, and I said I wasn't buying it there yet. And then we got the second area down, but for XTC it didn't make a new low, so I could have just bought it either way in the same spot. It didn't even matter. So the second time, but I was hoping for it to come down slightly more, but can't be greedy, because this could very well be a massive W for me. And like these could be I would like to think the privacy tokens are starting to be like a foreshadowing, or like how DGB moved from finally out of the depths of despair. It was all the way down at like 0.004, 0.006, and it made like a 90-something% move back up out of the volatility. I'd like to believe that some of those tokens that are starting to do that are starting to lay the foundation that alt season is silently starting. That's what I want to know. I want to see DGB break 1, 2, and then ultimately 1.8 cents, and then I know something could be cooking. If it gets over 1.8, something's cooking with alt season. It has to be. Unless it gets a firm rejection, something's going to have to happen. But we're in a tricky spot, though, because we don't need as much volume to have this back test now. If it's a firm drop farther, we're not going to need much volume to push us back up. And because now, remember, we dropped out of these points. The worst thing people can do is sell the fear when it's on the way down. Because now what always usually happens, so with this, it fell out of 5.9, came down to 4.9, but it used this support structure on the bottom of the pattern again. Now, typically, if it's bearish, it would come all the way back up here. It would come all the way back up, even if it was bearish. It would foster the illusion of we've got something going here. Like that's as honest as I can be with everybody. And this is typically what would end up happening. So then even if it gets a 12%, then everybody's like, oh, we're jumping for joy. And then if it gets rejected there, how could this possibly happen? Because you could argue that pattern, well, it doesn't have to go way back there, but the way it was set up, it's kind of interesting how fast it went with the market, that's what we kept saying. If the market falls out, it's just going to have no choice but to go back and test. But it cleared this wick. I love it. Like this, there's a lot of cases to be made that I feel 10 times better today than I did last week at this time, because you could tell that daily had to drop us real quick. Just like, it's the kind of the same thing I was talking about it earlier with First Majestic. I think it could be the frontliner for, it's either the reversal in this market, because a lot of the stuff I have, they had incredible earnings. Incredible. First Majestic had the most silver they've ever produced and went down 7%. It's almost like we're having a silent bear market. Well, not even silent bear market, but it's doing it very quickly. What the heck is going on here? No, you need to go back down here, good friend. But now the daily is massively oversold. The weekly is pushing down rapidly. We're getting back into a cycle here. So if you're paying attention to commodities, seriously pay attention to First Majestic. If it comes down to 921, whew, this is where I consider to now start rebuying stuff back over the top of what I have. Like when things start happening like that, we got great earnings. I mean, I got a shitload of miners. I got 1,000 of Fortuna, 1,000 of First Majestic. I don't know, what is it? I think 300 of Pan America Silver. Barrett Gold's another 300. B2 Gold's 3,000 of them. Hecla's another 1,000 of them. So there's a lot of stuff. Fortuna, all of those. The only ones I don't have, and I have to consider Dolly Varden, because Dolly Varden's in my buy zone to get my 1,000 shares back, and it's pretty hefty savings from where it was at. Daily's oversold, or Daily's massively oversold. Weekly's oversold. It's technically getting back into reaccumulation zones. I can't hate on myself if you hear me say tomorrow that I bought some of this, I might put it. It all depends. It's starting to look that way though. Commodities are starting to. We're doing exactly what we needed to do. That's all I can say. We're doing. Hecla's up 5.28% in after hours. Fortuna's up 4.08%. Interesting. B2 Gold down 2.98%. Interesting. This will be good times for B2 Gold. Back testing this move. If you're watching this, $3.73. It went right up to our projected target, and then we have the breakout after. But this was the projected target up on the immediate move. And then overall, if it comes back and back test, then you start looking at it. And then that's the major resistance once $5 is broke. If we can get this confirmation, but we did not yet. We went to the first target, and now we're clearing out. This is great. What's happening here, these charts are going to go parabolic again. Anyhow, back to crypto. I'm sorry. I just get excited when I see precious metals on accident and that kind of stuff. Just remember that earnings and stuff happened today. Indeed, he was elected 1 year ago today. Indeed. Indeed. Mike Oxmel says, "Hey Tom, how you been, sweet cheeks? Tonight I am here to announce that my wife's boyfriend has sold all of his XRP, and I now am the proud owner of more XRP, and I got her back for now." Very stupid, man, selling all of his XRP. Do you know how many... Well, good job getting your wife back by virtue of having XRP to yourself now. Oh, I love your entrances, Mike. But you're smart. And looks like you're not going to be on the outside looking in anymore, are you, my friend? No, indeed. No, indeed. Everybody's selling, it sounds like right now. It's like everybody's like, I'm done. That last drop, there was a lot more fear. There was a lot more fear. Like, it wasn't just fear. What started to get my attention was the fact that, let's see. Was the fact that the metrics were starting to point to the fact people were panic selling. It's not just that it was in the fear went strong. There was actual panic selling. Panic selling's good. Very good. And we're still at 27 after that reversal. Down to 23, back to 27. Good areas. You want to accumulate in fear, especially extreme fear like we were in. So now it's like, let's see how this move finishes out. Let's see how it plays out. These are good times. Good times. And yes, the Christmas tree is up. As Julie said, the one good thing about Halloween ending is you can put the Christmas stuff up. Because I didn't want our Halloween stuff to go goodbye-bye. But then she reminded me of that, so we got our tree up. Just in basic form right now. Let's see what the Bitcoin long short ratio is, if it changed or not. 53% still short. Wow. 47% long. This could be a decent area to start pushing up more. Interesting. That's interesting to me. Still everybody's on the short side. Look at Ethereum, 53.2% to 46.7. That's a $500 million with Ethereum. Oh, that's in the 4-hour. Forget what I just said. Oh, that makes more sense. Almost 50-50 for Ethereum. Bitcoin's almost fit. Yeah, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. I was going to say. More people going long than short on XRP the last 24 hours, more up the last 4 hours, actually. Yeah, the mind's changing now. Oh, yeah. Look at the perceptions changing. You can see it in real time. Over the last hour, 54%, better than 54% are going short on XRP. Over the last hour, better than 57% are going short on Ethereum. And in the last hour, better than 55% are going short on Bitcoin in the last hour. That's pretty. What about the last 30 minutes? Look how the mind's shifting. 57% going short in the last half hour. Wow. Ethereum, 59.79, so just about 60% going short in the last 30 minutes. I'll keep feeding us this. 55.48% going short on XRP in the last 30 minutes. Oh, I love it. What's the short-term narrative? I love doing this kind of stuff. 56.8% still in the last 5 minutes. Even with how much it's been cooking in the last... Wow. That's awesome. Look at the fear. The last 5 minutes, 62.4% going short in leverage. 62.5% in the last 5 minutes are going short. There's definitely a lot of panic in this market. That's a great metric to look at. Like, we get a little bit of a rise and everybody's like, oh, it's over. XRP, I mean, that's kind of in the favor of the longs. So that's altcoin favoritism. 55% short on Ethereum as well. That's funny. More people have confidence in XRP. What can we say? 52.5% on Ethereum. That metric at an hour, though, was crazy. 54.4% going short on XRP over the last hour. That's a big change of, philosophy. Ethereum's at 50. I'm going to just stay by the hour. 57.5% going short over the last hour on Ethereum and 56.5. That seemingly speaks good for it to go up even more. But yeah, there's a lot of Binance long short accounts. Got a lot of people. Yeah, somebody made the comment. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are still holding. Some are getting rattled a little bit. Some, but the second that's where it was started to push in the other direction right there on the second. That's when we got a lot of panic. There's some follow through here recently too, but what is your current Bitcoin sentiment? Oh, that's a loaded question, because in the immediate moment, let's see, because we might have to validate this move to go further up. So that's a loaded question if I ever heard it. If it said like in the next 30 minutes. Well, we're building this inverse head and shoulders, so that's tricky. Like, I'm bullish, but I think it could still come to 102.8 or so, somewhere in that area. Definitely looks like an inverse pattern's building out here. Doesn't it? Who knows if it plays out 100% true, but that looks like, hey, we swung around, swinging around. This was just like, hey, I'm just going to take a minute to get up there. This was, in this rally, Everybody's like, yep, it's over. Yeah, we made the right decision. This was disbelief. Everybody was in disbelief that it could actually be going up from here. And then it went up here, and they're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And now it builds something like this, and when it does this, they're gonna say this is some. And that's what ends up happening. Like, I could feel it. I could feel it before that last drop. We talked about it right before that last drop happened, the second of the two. People were exhausted. Retail was worn out. The mental. They said, I don't care when it drops this next time. And that's when it finally went from 104 to 98. Nobody, the retail was like, don't care. I'm not buying nothing. Done. I'm done. A lot of people were just done. We got a lot of messages during the live on that day that people finally sold XRP, which was crazy. There was a lot. And then there was a lot in my comments, which was even crazier. You went this far to sell it now and didn't take 350? If you didn't take 350, why would you take 220? Hell, why would you take 205 or 206 or whatever it did? That's the crazy part. Like, you were willing to write it down from 350 and then you panic at 206? Come on now. You already wrote down to like $1.30. What's so... You shouldn't be panicking. We got lots of time left in the history of XRP. Lots of time. Lots of time. In the next 25 minutes, could it go down? Sure, anything can go down. But in the long term, there's a lot of time. Look at that. Nice. That's nice. Nice. That's nice. Nice XRP. XRP's playing nice right now. And look, we're clearing out in the 30-minute. The stochastic. Look. Nice XRP. Nice. Okay. Nice. Now if it does that, very nice. And then we'll retest up here. Very nice. But first we got to get past here. We got to get past here. But still, that looks like... Well, it'd be more like this. But this is nice. I like that. That's nice. When you see the woman's ovaries, it's nice. Very nice. It's not. They're not just for childbearing. They tell you that we're having good, nice movement in the markets. Unfortunately, when you see what looks like the balls, we're not having such a good moment. It ends up being a weird chart. We've seen it in the past. It's kind of like the rocket ship goes... But... that's so funny. Oh yeah, Quant. Sorry about that, Shane. I'm excited about XRP. Speaking of XRP, we got to talk in this live about XRPNU, XRPNW, and XRPN. Last time we were going to talk about XRPNU was at like $14 and something cents. And I think it was 14 something. Maybe it was 12. Maybe not. Maybe that was not this. No, it was definitely not. 1260. Oh no, is that the right one? XRP. Yeah, that's XRPNU. I also want to talk about the warrants. Because I want to make a purchase of some of these and build it over time, kind of like I do with the commodities. It's just what I noticed is the warrants are moving a lot quicker, just like the XRPNU. But XRPN is more like the stable. That's more not stable coin, but it's more of a reserve movement. It looks like very fine movements. I know it looks big on the chart, but you're literally talking about $10.31 down to $10.25. As to where we've had major movements here. I find that pretty big movements when you can move 25% in a direction, down and up and down and up. And then with the warrant, you've gone all the way up. This is the one I'm most interested in. Because we went from $1.20 all the way down to $1.07, but we're trying to put in this reversal. I just don't. There's no way of knowing, but I'm starting to think like maybe. And it's like, what do I put the ratio at? I have 15,000 I want to put in between the three of these. What's the ratio? Do you put? How many do you put into the warrants? How many do you put in the? There's so many ways to look at this. And then, like, for everybody who likes XRP, there are things like this in the market already. So when people are talking about ETFs, like, you can come into here and you can already trade. Let's go to the NASDAQ, or the stock market. You can already come on here and let's see. Oh, it's gonna be hard. I wish I could show you my trading app, my JP Morgan trading app, because it comes up. I should pull it up just to show you. But it's got all of the that you can buy all of the like inverse ETF for XRP, the 2X ETF. You know, it's holdings you can buy, but it's not priced at the price of XRP. But you can actually buy the shares or off the stock market. But it's not like correlated at a 1-to-1 ratio. But it's pretty interesting. Ethereum is really struggling, not playing nice at all. No, Cat, Ethereum is not playing nice at all. And thank you, Philip and Aaron, for being in Tom Zone for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. And Mrs. Stott, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom Zone for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor as well. I'm so blessed to have you in here as well. What was I doing? Quant. Let's see if I pulled the right chart up or not. No, Quant's doing exactly what we were expecting. The only problem is we talked about this the other day. Quant came into my freaking buy zone again. And for the umpteenth time, I just wasn't paying attention to Quant. For the umpteenth time, and you only get so many chances. This has been building for a long time. We've had this set up for a very long time. Keeps showing this as the found support. That's a very good sign for soon a big explosion is going to happen. I think, Shane, you are going to be so happy. When I say happy, I mean really happy one day with this. Where's it at today? $86 roughly. I think you're just going to be so freaking happy. I would have been happy. I would have been happy to pick up like 10 Quant, or not 10, 100 Quant. What would it have been? Yeah, 100 would have been like $5,000 at 50 bucks. I'd been happy about that. Honestly. Anything. 20 of them, 10 of them, 5, whatever you own, I would be happy at. It's all relative to your own holdings. But yeah, Quant, it's beautiful that it held that area. Weekly is so oversold. So oversold. These are prime for big moves up. Like this is prime. Daily's already starting to move up, but they're prime, man. That's a beautiful reversal too. We just got to get on top of the 200. If you see it on top of 95 bucks, you know, start with the flag. I don't have a flag, so I guess that doesn't mean anything. Let's just put it this way: if Quant doesn't move when it gets over that 200 day, you're gonna have to go to some. You have to go to some artificial measures, and you're gonna have to bring out some. Well, I don't really want to show that. Otherwise, they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is indecent and harmful." But you're gonna have to pull out some muscle. Let's just say. Can't pull out the tactical. They're just gonna get mad. How high do I think Quant's gonna go overall? Oh, way high. Quant, my target, once it gets out of here, and yeah, you can move it down the road. But I think somewhere, it's going to get over 300 bucks soon, but it's going to get way up. Like, my expectation is it gets up near the $700 plus range in time. I really do. I think it's going to get up there. I think it's going to have a big run. Big, epic run. After all, you can't have XRP and all the stuff we talk about without Quant. Quant, it powers it all. Big time. Quant powers it all. Yeah, Quant is the big dog of what we talk about with what we like. Quant is basically the biggest name in town. Honestly, it's the biggest name on this side of the, Mendoza line. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. I think this is actually one that could get up there. So if everything goes the way it's supposed to, it'll be a top 10 more than likely. It could even be higher than top 10. But yeah, the king of interoperability. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a nice. It's nice. It's very nice. So yeah, I hope that helps clear up my position on Quant. I mean, everybody knows I love it, but I always seem to I always seem to, I don't know, my biggest focus has been on the whole Epic thing and getting, I really wanted to have 100,000 IOTA and just, I didn't know it was going to happen, but with these last two drops, the timing could have been a little better on this last one just because I put the stop loss at the end of the pattern drop, you know, in the pattern. But I knew it was going down farther when it got the rejection, so I probably could have did it 7% sooner, but I'm not going to get mad. And I started with 40,000 tokens, sold, rebought it back, got to 80, sold, rebought it back, and ended up being able to buy 100,000, 222. And I kept 250 to the side because I just like that 222 at the end of it. Sign of the angels. So, no, like I said, Shane, those are going to end up, if you just stay the course, every time the market goes flat like that, don't be buying these green days right now, like when it's green all the way back up. But like if you're watching it, and one time it was, and you're like, oh my God, XRP's at 212, and I already have it, and it's all red, and the fear's panicking. Like I say, just have your conviction. Have the conviction. Like for me, it's always it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. That first drop didn't do it for me, but when it was doing the second one, and you could see it, it's like, I can see these. Look how big that inverse head and shoulders is. The all-time, by the way, inverse head and shoulders on XDC. It's unbelievable. So now I have 150,000 XDC, which is the king of the R3, which I'm very happy with that amount. 100,000 IOTA, which is the king of the Internet of Things, M-IOTA. And then having XRP, which is the cream of the crop in what we do. Having XRP Healthcare, which I think is going to be the cream of the crop when it comes to the digital healthcare and things like that. I think it's just what's building. It's going to take time. It's going to give opportunities for big profits like it gave us before when we bought in at 2 cents or 1.7 or 2.5, whatever you did. And then it went up to like 50 cents. That's just a massive return that we're able to capitalize. And then now rebuy back if you want. This is the time to do it. In these areas. Look at the weekly, though, for XDC. Look how over-freaking sold we are. Like Dave Rams would say, this is freaking ridiculous, folks. You're going to take out a mortgage on meme coins, and this is freaking on sale. That's how I feel. Like, this is on sale. Oh, my goodness. Just the fact that it's down here is remarkable. And 2026, or 5, I mean... To think at the end of 25, not even 2 full months until 26. Can you believe this? How fast this year went? My God, when you think about it like that. To think XDC still right here. To think yesterday we were able to pick it up at 4.98 or whatever, 4.9. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Goodness freaking gracious. I'm not convinced we're coming back to zeros. The 2.9 because that would invalidate that entire inverse head and shoulders for the all-time pattern. Is it really willing to do that? I suppose if it's a quick wick it could, but Jesus Lord, look how oversold we are in the weekly. And the daily's caught up. This is a freaking miracle that it hasn't reversed yet. You guys are in real time watching this. If you don't own XDC, buy freaking XDC. If you missed out on XRP at 34 cents, don't miss XDC at 5. Jesus Lord. Bring back Winning Wednesday, somebody says. What is it, Wednesday today? Let's see. What can we do here? How about this? How about this? Every single Wednesday, and I have 150,000 XDC. Every Wednesday, I will do this with all of you if you are committed. Every Wednesday, I will buy $250 of XDC more if XDC stays under 10 cents. Every single Wednesday. Every single Wednesday. Every single Wednesday, if that's the chosen path. Because Winning Wednesdays, to me, has to be XDC. And I love IOTA, but it's not being able to be bought everywhere. I think XDC... oh my God, just because it's part of the 3X's. I will do this every single... I'm being serious. I'm being so serious right now. Every single Wednesday I would do this. Let's see. Let me set this up real quick, and then we'll get to the end of this live, and then we'll talk about this. And then I'll see if anybody wants to do it. And I will literally, and I know that a lot of people like when I talk about XDC and when I talk about the other routes. And Nick, thank you so much for not being, or for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor, but also the gifted sub. And Jorge, our very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram, Jorge, if you're watching out in the abyss, he got a gifted sub and is back in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. That is a truly generous donation. I don't even know what to say. We have such a generous audience, and some people might leave while we're going through this. But here, I like I said, I gotta finish something real quick. So I want to send some funds over. I'm gonna send what I have, a couple hundred, like 250 from BITUNIX back over to Kraken to buy it, because that's where I buy XDC. That's the tier 1 exchange, but at least I can buy it there. And when you pay for the with the Kraken Pro, you get much better pricing. Like, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Like, I can do the whole swing in and out and do all that, and it's pretty on point. Small, slightly bigger fees, but it's nothing unmanageable. Let's see. So yeah, I can send that. It's just gonna take a minute. We'll see how long it takes the USD to send, but I got to do all the stupid validation first, as you know. But I can't do it on my computer. No offense, but I on my tablet, because it's not that I don't trust you guys, but there is one scammer watching right now that's like, ooh, we're gonna get this information real quickly here. Unfortunately, we all know how it is. Sad. It's sad, but it's unfortunately the truth. It's the gosh darn truth. Yeah, so we just gotta wait for this to get here, and I will buy that much more. And I'll tell you when it gets there. But I'm really excited to do this, because right now I've got just over $7,900 or $7,800 in no, almost 7,900 worth of XDC, because it's 149,317 XDC roughly. So after, I'll be firmly over 150, maybe 150 something. I don't know exactly what it's gonna be. But anyhow, yeah. So I'll let you know when that comes, and then we'll do our Winning Wednesdays. Mark Caston bought $50. Yeah, Winning Wednesdays is back in action by popular demand by the audience. And what better token to do it with than XDC, now that it came to the bottom of our formation. Even fell out of it for a second, but it's massively oversold in the daily. In the stochastic, the weekly's extremely oversold. These are the buy signals. This is a buy signal. Even if it cooks down, this is a buy signal. I haven't officially bought more yet. I gotta wait for that to get into my account from BITUNIX, because it takes just a second, because it's in USDT. I grabbed my black bag and put it in the front door. Ooh, guys, I gotta run into outside real quick. I want to make sure Julie brought something in the house. It's important. Hold on one sec. I appreciate all of you, but I gotta do it for my love. Right back. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Julie was laying down, so let's see. Yeah, Mr. Scott, it's so incredibly cheap on TOOBIT. I keep trying to pass the word because if you like BITUNIX, TOOBIT is it's remarkable. Oh, good, the deposit got here now. That was quick. All right, I'm gonna do this. So, winning Wednesdays. Let me go to my Kraken. Let me go to buy. And on Kraken, you can buy XDC with USD. You can buy it. There's a couple different currencies you can buy it with. Euro, you can buy it USDC. So if you have it in USDT and you're on Kraken, you would have to sell your USDT. And just sell it into either USD or USDC. It really doesn't matter which one. I would just put it in USD. It makes it easier. But, you know, to each their own. To each their own. So let me flip this out to USD. It cost me 10 cents as the trading fee to flip it. Now let's flip it back to XDC. Then USD. Buy XDC. I'll tell you what my trading fee is in a second. I'm going to put it to 527. But it'll go cheaper. But I like to put it above. Just a little bit, but still limit. Filled it at 5275, even though I put it at 5289. Like 17 cents was the fee. Not bad. So now I have, just to keep it in real time, I have, which will be nice to see, 152,704 XDC. If somebody wants to write it down, keep me up to date in the Telegram. If you're in the Telegram, 152,704, and we can put that down. And then every week we'll add $250 to it. That'll be a good way for me to build that up still. Until it gets up to 10 cents. That'll be a good way for common bond, common commodity, and then we'll see where we're at. Me too, Shane. I love BITUNIX. I friggin' know. I use that. I really do like TOOBIT though. It's become, I do more and more. I have way more money on TOOBIT now, but I like them all. But if you want to use an exchange, you hear me talking about like TOOBIT or BITUNIX or WEX for IOTA. For the non-tier 1 exchanges, these are no KYC exchanges, which means worldwide you can use them. No identity, it's in privacy. But that's in the video description below under pinned comments of this very live. You can choose. My personal preference right now is TOOBIT, just because they're expanding the use in the USA. So that to me is good. But I won't argue with you if you use any of the three. Like WEX, I have to use for IOTA. I have to use for IOTA, and I have 100,000 plus IOTA, so that's not going anywhere. I hold WEX very dear to my heart because they have spot IOTA. Hope Botanicals welcome in. Says Hello, Las Vegas. I don't even know if XDC's in spot on TOOBIT. I don't buy it on TOOBIT. I buy it on Kraken. Let me see. I can answer that. Because I don't even think it's on. To be honest with you, I don't even think XDC's on TOOBIT. Is it? Unless I'm missing something. Oh, maybe it isn't. No, it's not even on TOOBIT. So, no, unfortunately, G string XDC is not in a lot of places, but I think it's massively oversold here. I think it's going to be a big player, and it's getting into a range where it's not always going to be here. This is not going to be like this forever. It's really not. Like one day we're going to come on here and it's all of a sudden it's just going to be gone. And it's going to be like XRP when we're all these days we talk about it at 40 cents and 30 cents and 80 cents and 60 cents and 35 cents. You know what I'm getting at here? It's going to be the same thing one day with XDC. How we were talking about it at 7 cents and 5 cents and 11 cents and 4, not 11, anything under 10. So basically, the price today where XDC, it's basically XRP at 50 cents. Just looking at it that way. You're just getting it at marginally lower because it's that part in its history. A ton less tokens than XRP as well. So you guys know I'm not BSing. So max supply of XDC. This is the one I keep saying. If you missed XRP, even more than XLM, because XLM to me is still part of the XRP. It's to me, all XLM is they needed to create more utility in a clever way because they needed more and more. So they had Jed McHale go off in his own way, and they said, all right, you're going to do this branch of what we need, and XRP's going to do this branch. But if we tell the public they're each of and one of their stand, they're all going to go nuts. So you have their own factions. So 38 billion tokens total for XDC, and XLM has total 100 in November 2019, the Stellar Foundation implemented a token burn and reduced. I remember it went down. 50 billion XLM tokens. Remember what happened to the price when that happened? It crashed. It crashed. It was crazy. But anyhow, I think XDC is, if you're looking for that, I still have 20,000 XLM, don't get me wrong. Because I love XLM still. But I like to roll with the 3Xs personally, and then some of the other ones like IOTA for the Internet of Things. Algo because I believe it's in the same faction and same conversation with like the XRPs and XLM and XDCs and that kind of infrastructure. Just different parts of the world that we don't hear utilized very often. A lot of people think it's a scam, but anybody who doesn't like XRP thinks XRP is a scam. I just happen to like both. I also think like having Epic for the real world asset because it is the beta and the infant infrastructure and the, let's just say it initiates blockchain to real world asset, like real world utilization to be able to turn like real world. It's just the whole tokenization of the goal. It's everything. This is like the infant of the project. This is like the beta test to make real world assets go around. And they are on the XRP ledger. They're backed by Ripple. I mean, they're backed by Ripple, let's just say. They're heavy investors. So, I mean, very small token supply. So, Shane, 11,500 XDC. Excellent. 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 Oh, no, I am in XLR, but I only have 10,000 XLR. I completely forget about XLR a lot. XLR, that would be why I forgot about it, because it's not on here. That is, I said I felt like I was missing one. That would be the one I was missing. Out of sight, out of mind, I suppose. But yeah, I think XLR, like we've talked about, it's just ridiculous where it's still at. And this time in his, like where we're at right now, this is another one you won't see very often. Or once it's gone, it's gone. It seems like routine, but these all look like they're building big flags with some falling channels now. And those falling channels are going to be mega bullish. Mega. And then it's going to be too late. Once this happens, You're not gonna buy. You're not gonna buy this if it breaks down. You're just, or if it breaks out, you're not gonna. If you've seen this at 10, 15, 20, 30, and it's all of a sudden at 80 cents, you're not gonna do it. Like we're literally at the depths of despair right now. Like this is a. I feel like this one is definitely running out of time. This one's definitely running out of time. What can you get 10,000 tokens for right now? It's dirt cheap. This only has like a billion, just over a billion token supply as well. What's the price? It is dirt cheap right now. What the hell is this crap? What chart do I want to use? We can go to a new chart. Even though the one does show the back test perfectly, so I really don't have to do anything. It's definitely not that one. Oh, that's the one where he showed where it was going to come down to. It landed in that circle. Like he broke the fish there. That's the one. Which one was that? This one? I think it was this one. Yeah, 15. That's not even $1,600 to get some Axelar. That's dirt cheap. That is dirt cheap. I hate to break it to you, but that is dirt cheap. No, I understand, Terry. I apologize. That's why I don't really like to talk numbers so much. I like to just talk what I like instead of saying I have X amount. Because when I used to do this, I did have very small numbers in comparison to now. Like I could have XRP, but there wasn't much else besides that. And I didn't even have 10,000 XRP in the early days. I had like 78 or 7,200. In that first bull run of 21. But now it's different, you know. Able to reap the hard work, so to say, over the last 5 years, and now we'll see what happens. But yeah, Axelar, where are we at in the weekly and daily? I gotta imagine we're massively oversold in here, like massively. Daily's still moving down a little bit. That's interesting. So XDC is a better deal right now than Axelar, according to the daily. Remember, XDC also melted all the way back down to that wick. But the weekly's massively oversold. I don't know where it ends up going ultimately, but someday this will be seen as very cheap. There's a lot of talk about like partnerships and stuff or with Ripple, but who really knows? Who really knows? Let's see. What else? I don't really want to keep talking longer than I have to. It's been an hour because my son's sleeping, so I want to keep it that way because he's got school tomorrow. So I'll leave it at that. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you, everybody. Axelar and XDC are two completely different use cases. They're not even on the same stratosphere. If I had to pick one over the other, I would just pick XDC, if I'm being honest, with the way the chart looks right now. Now, maybe Axelar will get better returns, but I would probably start with XDC. Where XDC's at right now is pretty remarkable. It's so oversold in the daily. I've never seen it like really this far. I mean, I have, but it's been a long time since we've seen that in the weekly and daily. Monthly still could come down, but you're not going to get the monthly usually to come all the way down here and play. That's a beautiful setup. Ooh, that is an amazing setup.